Psalm 71:9 says this. Do not cast, this is what David said. David looked at God, and David was worried because he was getting old. And David says, do not cast me away when I am old. Do not forsake me when my strength is gone. But David looks at God, this is God. And I think David was looking at the people, and he said, don't cast me away when I'm old. Do not forsake me when my strength is gone. Why? Because I still have so much that I can give. I still have so much that I can contribute. We do. God doesn't. A lot of times, we cast away our hope. God doesn't. You know, it's amazing to us. Sometimes us in the men's group, we will be there and Calvin Bourne will come in. Calvin's not doing well. But we are constantly amazed at the intellect, the wit of Calvin, even as he's not doing well. He has so much, and he has so much that he brings to the table when we have our men's Bible study. And we have learned that when Calvin speaks, we listen. Because he might not say much, but what he says is of great value. And the thing that we need to remember is that our seniors are prime time or to be prized. They're to be valued by our whole church because they're valued and they're prized by God. Notice the second thing is that they're to be energized. In Joshua, I want to read you this scripture again. And I told you the story, but I want to read you the scripture in Joshua chapter 14. It was a story I was just telling you about. And you can read it for yourself. Now then, just as the Lord promised, He has kept me alive for 45 years since the time He sent us to Moses while Israel moved about in the wilderness. So here I am today, 85 years old. I am still as strong today as the day Moses sent me out. I'm just as vigorous to go out and do battle just as I was then. Now give me this still promise that the Lord promised me that day. You yourself heard that when the Anakites were there and their cities were large and fortified, but the Lord helped me, I will drive them out just as He said. Caleb looked at Moses and Caleb said, Moses, and Moses energized me. Give me something to do. Let me do what God has told me to do. He looked at Moses and he said, Moses, don't put me on a shelf. Don't push me aside. He said, Moses, I can do this. I'm going to tell you, and I'm talking to all of you, all of us that are over 50, we ought to be ambitious in our endeavors. Because I tell you, the last part of our life, the last part of our journey can be the best part of our life. So many times I look and see people as they get older, they contribute so much more to their world, to their church, to their community after they're 50 than they ever did before they're 50. Because they're grounded. And as a church, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we continually energize our older congregation. That we continue to give them opportunities to bless and to serve the people of Community Fellowship Church. We're not as prime time. We are not to conceive the frustration, the failure, or the bitterness. We'll be like, hey, give me this thing. I can do this. Don't put it on the shelf. Don't forget about it. God, I'm ready. In our bulletin, the verse that says, David come to God, and David said to God, he said, God, when I'm old and ready, don't forsake me till I declare your power to the next generation. I want to tell you something. Prime time. God needs you to be declaring His glory to this next generation. God needs you to be standing tall for Him. God needs you so that this next generation can stand and see what a godly man and a godly woman is supposed to look like. God needs you to stand so that they can see that it's okay to live up, to be principled, and to have standards and to have rules, and to see how God can can do. Isaiah chapter 46, verse 4, a great scripture, says this, even to your old age and gray hair, I am He, I am who will sustain you. I have made you and I will carry you, I will sustain you and I will rescue you. I want to tell you something. God was going to turn His back on you. God looked at Isaiah and God told Isaiah, even in your old age and your gray hairs, I'm God. And it's me that will sustain you. It's me that will carry you. It's me that will rescue you. Don't ever forget that God's on your side. And God's standing beside you. And God has a tremendous work for you to do. David said in Psalm 37:25, he said, I once was old, I once was young, now I'm old. He said, I can remember the day when I was a young man, out tending my father's sheep. I can remember the day when I was a young man called into Saul's court and played the harp. But I'm old now. But one thing I can testify to you, I have never seen the righteous forsaken. So, Pastor, what can I do? You can stand and declare the righteousness and the faithfulness of God. You can stand and say, look, I once was young and now I'm old, and I'm going to tell you something. I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor God's seed begging bread. And then not only are our seniors to be prized, not only are they to be energized, but they are to be mobilized. You see, that's what Caleb looked to Moses and Moses, I need you to mobilize me. I need you to give me this ministry. I need you to give me this job so I can do it. Moses, I need you to give me the okay to go and do what God's calling me to do. He said, I need to be used and not put on the shelf. Psalm 71, 18. The scripture that we read in front of your bulletin. Even when I'm old and gray, not forsaken, my God, till I declare your power to the next generation, your mighty acts to all who are to come. You see, David said, listen, I might be old now, but I still have a job to do. He says, God, who's going to tell the teenagers how great you are? Who's going to tell the high schoolers how much you love them? He said, God, he said, listen, he said, don't forget about me now. He said, I still got a lot I can do because there's a younger generation that's coming up that have maybe not seen the miracles that I've seen, maybe not seen the awesomeness of God that I've seen. And God, here I am. You know, I can sit there and he said, God, here I am. I'm ready to tell these folks about the love of God. I'm ready to tell these folks, listen, I'm ready to go out and tell this younger generation how that you took a little boy of 16 years old, you put him in a valley, and with just a slingshot, you brought a giant down. God, nobody can tell that story like I can tell it because I was there, I lived it. And I'm going to tell you something, Brian. Nobody can tell the story about the greatness, the goodness, the awesomeness of God like you can tell it because you were there. Because you experienced it. And you know firsthand what God can do in your life. Let me tell you something. And all of you remember this. You know, God, you look at your mom and dad, and you look at your grandparents, and in fact, I'm amazed that they did this far as I'm amazed that they got this far. It's really amazing how they raised such intelligent kids to be so well. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. Listen to me. You don't lose spiritual gifts as you get older. I'm going to tell you, I know, when I was 18 18 years old. And I was starting out of college. My dad was going to. He didn't know. He didn't know what alcohol. He didn't know what tobacco. You know what? At about 30, I started to figure out my dad was a lot more than I thought. He was a lot smarter than I gave him credit for when I was 17, 18, 15 years old. And that's one thing y'all need to figure out. As you get older, you're going to figure out, man, you know, they weren't quite as dumb as I thought they was. Because as you get older, get smarter. You get more wisdom, you get more understanding. 42 verses, we're going to close these 2 verses. These are important for our prime time, but these are also important for those of you here to come. Listen, church, I really honestly believe that we owe. Oh, everybody's stand up here this morning. Just stand up. Please, just stand up. Small percentages are coming. But you sit down. Small percentage. Stand. Keep standing. Just a minute. If you're over 50, just keep standing. Just a minute. I want you to look. These that are standing, you owe them honor. And you owe them respect. You owe them a tip of your hat when they walk by. You owe them the appreciation of opening the car door or asking how they're doing. Because they're old enough. Because they have contributed so much to who we are. That's why you owe them this. 2 verses, you can sit down. 2 verses that I want you to remember. I'm trying to remember this, and I want you to remember this, church. And 2 verses. First in Job chapter 12, verse 12. And I think this is first part of the Is not wisdom found among the aged? Does not long life bring understanding? This is what the Bible says. Is not wisdom found among the aged? Does not long life bring understanding? Young people, they understand a lot more than we understand. They're a lot wiser than you think they are. And it would really do us well to listen when they speak. Just like we have learned in our ministry to listen when Calvin speaks, it would do you well to listen when they speak, because they've been through a lot and they understand a lot more than we think they do. And the last verse is Psalm 92. They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green. See, this is what God says. God says, listen, God looking at you and God says, listen, you can still bear fruit in your old age. And I felt our prime time here today, you can still bear fruit in your old age. You can still stay fresh and you can still stay green. And I want to tell you, this church needs you. Make no mistake about it. This church needs you. We built a gymnasium. We built a gymnasium because God put a vision on our heart to minister to youth and children. Because God said, I want you to grow through youth and children. But do you know who made the decision to do this? It was the older folks. It was the older folks that made the decision to bypass the comfortable pews and the comfortable seats and our sanctuary and to build this kind of place. Why? Because they were very fruit in their old age. They were so fresh and green. So, you know, as you come in and you enjoy the facility that we got here, you enjoy the gymnasium, you enjoy the activities that we do, you know it to the older folks because they're the ones who make sacrifices so that we can enjoy the place that we